You guys ready?
Yep.
All right, it's 7 o'clock. I'll go ahead and call the June 9th meeting of the Board of Trustees to order. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Heaston, would you please take the roll call?
Good evening, everyone. Mr. Stubbs?
Here.
Dr. Cross here. Mr. Potter? Here. All are present.
All right, we're going to start off tonight's meeting with a presentation from Mr. Stiver and Mayor Johnson from the city of Germantown.
Good evening. I come to speak to you tonight about the upcoming parks levy. I have 2 points that I'd like to bring up for your consideration tonight. Number one, Landon at the Board of Elections has stated that there would be an additional cost if the ballot has 2 issues on it instead of 1, and that would be in advertising for the 2 issues instead of just 1 being on the ballot. He estimates the additional cost would be somewhere around $300. It's not a huge additional cost, but it would be an additional cost. And every dollar of tax revenue is important in this type of issue. Number 2, I ask that you allow the voters to choose and determine what they'd like to see pertaining to the parks. Let the voters choose as to whether they want to support improvements and see some large capital improvements done to the parks during the duration of the levy, or would they just rather simply maintain the parks as we've done through the years? Thank you.
Terry, thanks. My name is Randy Stiver, and I appreciate you guys and gals giving us a chance to speak here tonight. Kind of here under 2 different scenarios. Yes, I work for the city and I am representing the city, but I'm also here just as a citizen who has lived here my whole life. My family has been in the area since pretty much when the town was founded. So just real quickly, when I was growing up, we played football at Veterans Park. You may remember that, probably not. There was also a baseball diamond there. My dad actually played baseball on. Our baseball park was down where the new service building is. We didn't have the parks that we have today. Fast forward now, the township and the town and Germantown and the taxpayers have done a just amazing job by providing a parks service that I think is an envy of a lot of towns around here, with Kircher, Weber Park, the pool. I had to ride my bike to Farmersville, go to the pool. We did not have a Germantown pool. And all that has been made possible because of the township and the Germantown, but also from the taxpayers. They see the importance in the parks. And I think what was evident last November versus May kind of lends itself to that same thing. Obviously, we had a fire and EMS levy on in November. Kind of a bad time probably to run a levy. It was a tsunami, it got defeated pretty badly. Fast forward to May, put together a good committee. You guys brought it back at a 4 mil. We did reduce it to 10 years, but I think by and large, just the turnout, the people showed how important those services were to them and to the communities. I think they should be given the same opportunity for this as well. Working in a school for 30 years, I was involved in, I lost track, probably 20 tax levies. And like school boards, like you guys, there's several decisions that have to be made when you're going to run a levy. The financial piece is pretty much presents itself. You know, that there comes a time when every jurisdiction has to ask for more money. The other side is, how long do we put this levy out there? How much money do we need? And what millage should we put out there? And Board of Education's always struggled with that. I know you guys have as well. At the end of the day, though, it's really the taxpayers are going to tell us what they will support. Whether you put a combination out there, whether you put 2 separate levies, they're going to tell us one way or the other. And I think it would be prudent for all of us to allow them the opportunity to vote on the combined levy of renewal plus the 1 mil. Like I said, they're going to tell us whether they approve it or not. We also have a unique position. We have 3 bites at this apple. If for some reason it wouldn't pass in November, come back. You guys can come back and we'll look at it again in May. Hopefully we can make some changes if it wouldn't pass. But I think we should allow the taxpayers to tell us what they think. And I think you'll be surprised that the majority of taxpayers, I think, will support this. Going back to the EMS fire levy, those are services that are critical. And I don't want to compare that to parks. Parks are what they are. It's recreational. That was life and death and fire and everything. But if you ever spend any time at Kircher or Weber or any of the parks we have, there are so many kids involved in this. That also means so many parents and taxpayers who take part in all of these services and who love these services. I just came from there. I've got grandkids now. Mark, you had your kids played out there, my kids, probably a lot of yours. It's only getting bigger. And I think if you allow the taxpayers to make that decision, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised that I think this will have no trouble passing if we present it as a combined. And then just one other thing, as my experience in a school, working in the schools, we only did it once where we ran two different levies. But I was familiar with a lot of schools in the area that would try that. And the majority of time, they'll pick the lesser of the two evils, which means they would pick the renewal and not the additional 1%. So I think I would appreciate it if you guys would reconsider doing the combined levy of renewal and then a new 1 mil on top of that. And let's let the voters tell us what they think. Thanks for your time.
But aren't we giving them the option though? By putting it on there, they have the option. They can vote yes on both. They can vote no on both.
Sure, but history tells me and shows me they'll when they have a choice like that, they'll always look at that extra money to, well, I'll just renew this. I mean, it's just, Jake, it's what has happened in my 30 years. I see that. It's not, well, here's what may happen. It's what I have seen over 30 years. The majority of those, for whatever reason, and you're right, they can still tell us yes or no by having two separate ones. But my experience shows that they typically will not vote for both. That's just what I have seen in my 30 years. So, appreciate your time, guys. Thank you.
So Mayor, the initial cost of the additional cost of $300, what was that again?
Yeah, approximately 300.
To run the second.
To run the second,
To run the two issues.
the two separately, you mean, or just,
If you have two issues on the ballot, it would be approximately $300 more.
more than?
And
As
the reason,
opposed to one.
the reason for that is they have to be noticed in the newspaper, and that's the publishing cost.
Would it be okay if I ask a question?
Sure. Just say your name.
Deb Cross. How much do we still owe for the paving in the parks?
Well, we don't, you mean, we don't owe anything that I'm aware of.
Did
I
we
mean,
take-
there may, I apologize. I don't get too involved in that side of things with the finances. I know there was a loan taken out through the state.
Yes.
We could get back with you on that. I'm not sure.
I think it's just one more year. I think this year.
How much dollars?
I don't know what the total is offhand, but this is the
I
last
don't know how
year
much it is in dollars.
of getting that.
It was a 2-year loan.
Right.
That's what it was. I don't know how much it is in dollars.
If we could get that. And do we have a list of the things that you're planning to use the additional for? Because you were going to get that for us, but I didn't. You guys have
I
a list?
wasn't made aware I was supposed to bring a list.
I can give you three right off the bat. Number one is completely renovate the concession stand at the Kircher side, then pave the rest of the Kircher side and pave the Weber side. Those are three, just right off the bat.
And that's the original concession stand. Whenever Kircher Park was built.
Hey,
Need of improvement.
while we've got you here, can I ask a couple other questions from our joint levies? So right now, there's approximately $80,000 is taken out of the pool, the senior, the fire, and the EMS for administrative fees. Now that the new fire levy is passed, can you tell me tonight that there will not be any more administrative fees taken out of that?
That's already being discussed. Lou has been in meetings with.
So there will not be any more?
Look at your paper.
Well, I just got, this is the park levy.
I know, but I'm sure it was the same as with the EMS.
So, okay, so there will be.
I don't know that. I'm just assuming.
Okay,
As if the park levy passes, more money will be taken out.
You'd be prepared for last.
Yeah.
okay.
You want
So
to,
that's what I was just curious. I mean, the new money's gonna come in. I just wanted to know if the city had planned on taking more in administrative fees than the 80,000 they currently take out.
That's in discussion stage at this point.
Okay, can we get an update when that gets further along? Okay, I just think that's excessive and I say it all the time, but I just had a proper audience tonight to hear me. So I appreciate you guys coming
It's fine,
to,
yeah.
and then you've got the park one in front of me. So I guess I have no other questions. So, all right, appreciate it.
So
Thanks.
just to go back to two separate levies. So if you want to really give the people, the residents a choice, you give them two separate levies and they have the choice of, one or the other or neither or both.
It's true, Mark, but like I said, data suggests over 30 years of this, that those, the majority of time do not pass.
And you're saying if it doesn't pass, then we'll, more opportunities.
What they would probably do based on data, not just me thinking out loud, not just pulling something out of the sky, real data. Typically, when you put two different levies on, they're going to pick the lesser of two evils. So if they did that and they passed the renewal, then yes, we'd have to still come back with additional money, probably. But either way,
But doing it together, you're really not giving them a choice, residents a choice.
sure you are. They're going to tell you yes or no. That's how,
Then if it says no, then they'll do something different next.
The bond issue was passed over the school. It had an income tax with it.
There's three options. There's three options that we've looked at, which is plan A for the first. If it fails, then there's a plan B for which the millage request would be lower. And then a plan C, which is just renew and go from there.
But for the residents, I feel like two separate issues is more transparent.
Well, I guess we can agree to disagree on that. That's fine. No.
Let's do it.
And I think any levy, whether it's this or whatever, to get it passed is going to require a very strong committee, which happened with the fire and EMS. Those guys just worked like crazy and got out and did a lot of work. The same thing will have to happen here. But we have a huge group of people to draw from with parents that are out there every night.
There's no issue of hidden transparency. It's either two issues or one that's being voted on, so. If educated voters want to be educated on the two instead of the one, with one extra issue. they have.
Maybe I shouldn't call it transparent. Maybe I should call it ease of understanding.
Well, if you can come up with a way of ease of understanding any tax levy for constituents. No, I don't mean, because it's very difficult to explain millage, dollars and so on. So I agree with that. And unfortunately, we can't choose the language. Oh, this is what it's going to say. You don't get a say in what it's going to say. So.
And Mr. Heasted did point us to that 1308 video that was talking about levies. And the ones that were combination levies passed, I think 9-1, where they had both issues on the same.
Mr. Stivers raised an interesting point. If we don't combine them, you don't combine them, and only one of the two passes, then we have to run the other one, whichever one it is, next May, where we will pay more than $300 running the second. So if history tells us you run two levies, only one's going to pass, then we're looking at two elections. Maybe we'll be the outlier in that history. Sure. Hard to say. We can only base it on history.
Mr. Hanahan.
Greg Hanahan, 15900 State Route 725, German Township. As a taxpayer, whether it's one levy or it's two levies, I want to know exactly what I'm voting for. So I'm hearing maintaining the parks, but I'm also hearing capital. I would want to see what those capital improvements are. Back when I was on the board of trustees, we ran more than one additional levy for fire to buy a piece of equipment. Subject of that, it always passed. We had no problem passing. And with those levies, we told the voters that once that piece of equipment was paid for, we would drop the levy. We did. So I mean, I think that's really important. I'm not saying this doesn't make sense to have a capital levy and an operation, but I'm not saying that. I think you gotta be able to, I'm gonna wanna know what it's for, or I'm gonna know.
But also depends on which levy we're running to. We can't promise the paving of the two lots. We can't promise the renovation of the parking lot if all we're gonna do is just renew the front levy.
That's not what I'm saying.
Well, that's where you have, that's where you could, if we leave it the way it is, you'll have the option to say, this is what we're going to do with your renewal. This is what we're going to do with the new money. And you have the opportunity to lay that case out,
Correct. And that's what the park board will do.
which is why I think being separate is ideal. I mean, I don't know what the rest of these two think, but
Can I ask you a question?
And again, it's $300 if we run two on this election. If one goes down, and it may not be the improvement, it may be the renewal that does not pass. And so what's going to happen then is in May, are you going to run that renewal back? Or better yet, let's say both fail in November, then you're going to pay for two again in May.
are you, or are you gonna?
And two again in the next November. So that's kind of how we're looking at it right now.
You know, if the 1 mil additional would pass and the renewal wouldn't pass, you would not be able to do the capital projects that the 1 mil additional is earmarked for. So somehow that message would have to get to the community that if you don't pass them both and only pass the additional, and not all that money is going to be used capital. That's a hard situation to try to explain. The assumption is they both have to pass or the capital doesn't go forward. Is that, I think that's correct.
Well, not as much of the capital, there won't
Right,
be
not
as
as
much
much.
improvement,
Not as much.
not as much. improvement.
Depending on the money that comes in.
I don't have any trouble after listening to the arguments as far as putting those on one, ballot. I think, again, that it has to be very well explained why we're doing this, what each part is going for. It's one of those things. I think it's either all going to pass or all going to fail, maybe, but.
Yeah,
I think on this first time,
Yeah.
it's worth the chance of running them all together myself. So, what do you
we
think?
have a good model to follow. Irony and the way they rolled everything out, explained everything. So really it's kind of modeling it after what we did then. And like you say, obviously we will get information out as to what the money's going to spend. That's critical to do that. I didn't bring all that information with me. Terry has talked about a few things, but yeah, I think you have to have it down to the nitty gritty, so to speak. Here's what your dollars are going to go for. And you have to do that, obviously, but
We got to try to keep more of it.
You know, that's in the works.
No, that's in the works. I'm leaving that up to the council. So that's, got to leave that up. Got to
It's
get
gonna be
more of it.
determined by the organizations. It's not just the city saying this, it's going to be ED-based, EDYSA, and Junior Spartan football. Because they're the only ones that are going to have the most vested interest in, especially Kircher and Weber parks.
Another thing you don't want to lose track of with the community is what we're doing at the MMI Park. But that needs money, that is to be used by the community in a different way. What
And
is
so,
it you're in?
and so too is Hillcrest, which we've added grant monies to that, put that money in there and knock on wood, so far so good up there. It's really thriving and we haven't had any issues.
I think we could show the public, with a little bit of money, what
But just,
improvements we can do.
so no admin fees from the city will be taken out of this new levy.
Did say that.
Okay. All right.
But I'm on that, and the mayor's not working on that, and that is, to me, that's a council It's a council decision. Or town council can influence that.
Little confidence in the mayor.
Me too.
Already been one big point that's brought up.
Yes.
I think that's, and who knows what I'm talking about on that one, so that had never been discussed until the other evening,
Talk about it now.
talking about maintaining mowing of the grass.
The city paying for all the mowing of the grass, because it's city-owned property, which will have to be mowed if the levy passes or don't pass. The city will have to maintain mowing of the city property.
Which is what, about 50, 60?
60, yeah,
67. So that would be.
60 acres.
Any administrative.
Right. Because it gets a little frustrating, because we get griped at for holding money back that we don't spend. That we just hold back for special projects. We get griped at it by council. And then you got
Wouldn't say council.
council members.
Wouldn't say, well, I don't give you that. There's a special board that's complained a lot about that over the
Okay.
years. That doesn't involve council.
Well, and then at the end of the day, then we're able to buy a pool liner, a pool slide, and the fire equipment last year because we've held that money back and sat in an account that hasn't disappeared.
And that's what I was getting ready to say. And not only that, that if something happens in the next three phases, if this levy was to fail 3 times in a row, there's approximately 1 year left
Right,
of what would be levy money to make.
exactly.
1 year of whatever we have to do.
Right.
See if we can get it to go again. So,
Right.
yes, it's always the emergency funds that people want to grab a hold of.
Right.
Until there's an emergency, then they realize what it's there for. And I think the pool liner was a perfect example of why this works out, but people don't see it up front.
Right. No, and that's my point, because when we hold the money back, it's not, it's for that specific levy. And then the money that gets taken out for admin fees, and again, I've argued this for, I don't know, six or 7 or 8 years at this point. I don't know.
Jake, it's easier to see when you're in it and involved in it than it is on the outside, when outside's looking in. Then they, like we said, with the pool liner, then that's, okay, I
Right.
understand that. What happens is, well, just a few years ago, we didn't have to touch that money where we had to replace the roof. Knock on wood,
Right.
that was a little bit of an insurance job.
Right.
It's that nature. So there, with the parks, with property, there's always an issue that something may pop up.
Right.
Especially with the age and the ages of the pipes that are there at the pool.
Which we're going through that right now.
That nature. And so this works out. Folks just don't see it up front.
Lou is all over the admin fees. At our last meeting, I had an over and under 1 minute with Judy, how soon you would mention it.
And we have to keep in mind that all the taxes that come in from the constituents for the township and for the city, the only control that Sherman Township, these people have over how the money is spent is that holdback money. They don't have any control of otherwise how that money is spent. So it's always good to keep that holdback money.
And I keep reminding them of that.
They also
If the levy
control whether they
fails.
get money up or not.
Yes, it's.
But I think they always pretty,
I don't think we ever have denied ever.
I'm not saying there was, I'm just saying.
and it's only 10%, but
Where the control is.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, and when the levy fails and the only money left is up here, then there'll be no admin fees.
Correct.
So,
Right, there won't be anything left.
Correct.
oh, there'll be, a year's worth of levy, but it'll only go to maintaining the parks.
Yeah.
No admin fees.
So are you looking at it just specifically for the park or the levies across the board, the admin fees?
I'm not in admin.
Involved with that
Okay.
side of it.
Because it seems like $15,000 from
Kind of
senior center is a bit excessive every year.
not usually included in.
Okay.
And I apologize.
That's okay. Yeah, I make the same argument, but $15,000 from the senior center, it's 5 from the pool and 60,000 from fire EMS that just gets taken off the top every year. That's a lot of money going towards admin fees that don't go to those specific levy specific areas. And that's what I don't think is appropriate. So I have no problem running or asking the county auditor to do
Okay,
the number,
certify the amounts.
certify the amounts, and then next month we can make our decision on which way we're gonna go with the three options or the two options of that.
We would have three different,
Yeah,
and piece of information from the county auditor and two ways that you could run the
Right.
levies. And the good news is we have the extra time to be able to do that because the deadline to file with the Board of Elections is the first week of August.
okay,
So if you decide to, we'll use the same kind of motion we used last month when we did the other two.
that sounds good.
Could we get a list of what the capital improvements will be for the next meeting?
We have to get with each of the organizations, see what they like.
Do you have,
Appreciate you guys.
do you have the wording on that? 'Cause I'm not sure.
We'll get it out of the minutes.
Okay.
That's wording's all in the minutes. So let's wait until.
You would
wait till
do
my
it.
report.
Okay, that
and
sounds
do it
good.
then.
That works, because I printed that. Would have had that hard copy. Okay,
Jake, if I may real quick.
yeah, absolutely.
For Jeremy,
Sure.
and you may have gotten this phone call. Unfortunately, this young lady made a phone call to me thinking I had anything to do with it. And I said, no, but I know who does.
Yeah, I need to call her back and let her know that that sign is no longer approved under the Ohio Uniform Traffic Control Devices, so probably not gonna happen. So I'll call her and let her know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, thank you, guys. Do you have anything else today?
Thank
All right.
Thank you guys for allowing us to speak.
Any other visitor?
Good evening.
Yep, any other visitor comments tonight?
Anything?
Just one other comment. I just wanted to compliment the police department and chief for the fine job they did, taking house checks while we were on board of this.
Okay.
We got cameras and so forth, and I appreciate the due diligence you guys did.
They do a great job. Well, we're lucky to have Chief Birch and his crew, his officers do a fantastic job in the community. Any other visitor comments tonight? Anything? All right, we'll move on to Mr. Heaston's report.
All right, let's turn on the camera. There we go. Good evening, everyone, again. I have given you the minutes from the last month's May 12th meeting. Are there any corrections?
I did not see.
I will make a motion to approve as submitted.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Also given you the May financial reports, the normal ones. You have the fund status as of the end of May. You have the year-to-date cash summary by fund. You have the May cash summary by fund, just for the month. You have the May receipts and the May payments. And I do want to point out several items. The first one is receipt number 139 for $7,628.07 from Sedgwick Claims Management Services, Inc. And that is an insurance payment for the cruiser repairs from a recent collision. Receipt number 157 for $86,746.37 from the state of Ohio is the first half homestead and rollback tax payment. And last week on June 6th, I then paid the city of Germantown their share of the first half road levy tax collections, and then 90% of the tax collections from the other 5 levies, less the related expenses. Voucher number 384 for $44,367 to Montrose Ford is Chief Birch's new 2025 Ford Interceptor. Warrant number 50867 for $60,000 to the city of Germantown is payment for the new pool slide from the holdback amounts in the pool fund, which you approved at the May meeting. And finally, warrant number 50868 for $10,307.24 to First National Bank of Germantown is the semi-annual payment on the Valley View Water and Sewer District loan. And that is our next to the last payment. Final loan payment in the same amount will be due in December, and then we will be done with that. Are there any questions about the financials? If not, could I get a motion to approve the financial reports and authorize the payment of the May bills?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second,
Can you be more specific?
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the May financial report and authorize the payments of the May bills, warrants 50864 through 50869 and vouchers 368 through 456 for payroll, direct deposit, tax withholdings, and other electronic payments.
Thank you, I appreciate that
Second.
detail. Dr. Cross, can I hear a
Second.
second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you very much. Okay, let's go back to the minutes because we can talk about the, well, let me, before we get there, let me just say that we did, following last month's meeting, I did submit your two resolutions on the parks levy to the county auditor for certification of the amounts that would be generated under both options. And I did send you those certificates in your packet. The auditor reported that the half mil renewal should generate $115,000 per year, and the additional 1 mil levy should generate $300,000 per year. The additional annual tax for each $100,000 of the county auditor's appraised value would be $13 for the renewal and $35 for the additional. The deadline, as I mentioned earlier, to submit the levy to the Board of Elections is on April 6th. Now, if we go to page 3 of last month's minutes, we can use pretty much the language in resolution 31, but where, well, I'll tell you where to change it, or maybe you'll see where to change it.
What's the resolution number?
Going to be number 36.
All right, I'd like to introduce resolution 2025-36, a resolution requesting that the Montgomery County Auditor's Office certify to German Township the total current tax valuation of German Township incorporated and unincorporated areas and the dollar amount of revenue that would be generated by a recreational levy parks, a 1.5.
Let's do a 0.5 renewal
A 0.5 renewal
with an additional.
with an additional 1 mil for a 5-year period of time, beginning with tax year 2026, the first half collection in 2027, to provide funding for the parks and recreational purposes as authorized in ORC Section 5705.19H to be voted on in November 4th of 2025 general election ballot.
And just to review, this would be combining a half mil renewal with a 1 mil addition. I believe we're probably going to get the same numbers just in total that we got before, but we will see what the auditor does. Any discussion of the resolution? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Mr. Stubbs?
Yes.
Dr. Cross?
yes,
Mr. Potter?
Yes.
Was it Dr. Cross? That was a yes, right?
that was a yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Resolution 2025-36 is adopted. Another reminder this month that our web content and our mobile applications will need to be compliant with new Department of Justice disability accessibility requirements by April of 2027. And previously, I provided you a link to a fact sheet concerning these new rules that's available on the Civil Rights Division website. The next Montgomery County Township Association meeting will be held on June 26th at 4 o'clock in the offices of Washington Township. I'm going to be out of town that day, so I will not be able to attend. If any of you would like to attend, that would be terrific.
I think I should be able to, so I'll plan on it.
Very good. I appreciate that. You can report back then next month.
Yep.
Whatever they talked about. And I think that completes my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Chief Birch.
Last month, officers drove 8,371 miles. Total dispatches were 119, with 113 of those cases closed. We had 10 case follow-ups, made 1 arrest. We had 464 business checks, 95 vacant house checks, and 1,093 occupied house checks. 3 crashes, 42 traffic stops with 22 citations. We've completed our initial 3 meetings with Lexipol. The 2025 cost will be prorated at $3,699 with an annual cost of $7,398 thereafter. Previously, we had budgeted $10,000 for CALIA in 2025 as it was an on-site audit year, which occurs every 4 years. In the intervening years, CALIA costs $4,600 annually for online audits. When averaged out a 4-year cycle, this equals an increase of approximately $1,500 per year or $5,792 for 4 years. So Lexipol is going to be a little bit more expensive. However, the enhanced value and support provided by Lexipol significantly outweigh this additional cost. After completion of this process with the police department, after we get this implemented, we may want to discuss our personnel manual, possibly moving that into Lexipol somehow. I'm pretty sure Jackson did that up front, but I'm not quite sure how that worked out for him. There was an additional cost with that, but I'd like to get ours implemented and see if we can move that into that somehow, continue to pay the same cost with that added in. But I'll check into that tomorrow. I have a meeting with him again tomorrow.
Okay.
That's all I've got.
Personnel management manual definitely needs to be updated.
I've been going through our personnel manual and there are ORC codes in there that do not exist. So that's one thing that Lexipol is good at, is maintaining those documents and making sure they're up to date by law. So that's definitely something we should look at. We'll see how it goes.
Right.
I'm in for quite a busy next couple months getting our stuff changed over, so see how that goes.
All right, sounds good. All right, thank you for your report. Mr. Holbrook.
First item on my report this evening is to open the sealed bids for the 2025 chip seal program for the road department. The road department advertised for this program for 2 weeks on both the township website and township Facebook page, as required by the new laws. And basically, we're planning on chip sealing Eby Road, Stiver Road, South Puddinbag, East Kiefer, Barlow, and East Friend Road. And
I didn't get all those. Can you do them again?
Eby Road, Stiver, South Puddinbag, East Kiefer, Barlow, and East Friend.
Thank you.
And we received 2 bids. The first bid was received today at 6:55 a.m. from Wagner Paving. They are located at 11191 State Route 571 in Laura, Ohio. This will be a unit cost bid, so they will be providing cost per square yard. And Wagner Paving's bid is for $2.28 per square yard. The second bid was received today at 6:38 p.m. from Ray Hensley Incorporated. And Ray Hensley Incorporated's unit cost was $2.41 per square yard. And Ray Hensley Incorporated is located at 3790 Cradeville Road, Springfield, Ohio. I would like for the board to give me some time to review these to make sure that they meet all the requirements. And I can make a recommendation to the board during new business at the end of the meeting, if that'd be all right.
Absolutely.
Before you go on, Mr. Holbrook, did you take a screenshot of the online?
It's still on there.
Apparently, that's something the auditors are gonna look for. So if we can.
Sean and I just talked about that, whether we just leave it on there and let GoDaddy host it, just even though that,
That way we don't have to keep up with the screenshot. If we don't delete it, it says it only accepts bids till this date, but if we just leave it on there.
it just,
Okay.
we have
Exactly.
the room to leave it there forever. And if somebody wants to pan down 30 pages and find,
Cause
You know.
it's on the website blog, so it's not hard to get to, and I have left everything on there that we posted just for that.
Is it
Sounds like a
timestamped?
good plan. Thank you.
It's gotta be timestamped, right?
I don't, I'm assuming,
I would assume,
I can probably look on there and say when we posted it, but
right.
As long as you can prove a timestamp, I think I'll be in good shape.
Typically, they do have the date you posted. So-
yeah, I believe it does, but I will check into that.
Back to my report, second item is Scott and I are in the midst of doing our 2025 crack seal program. We purchased 3 skids of crack fill material, and we've made it through 2 of them, and we approximately have a third of the material left to put down. Currently, we're on Stiver Road doing that, and the rain has kind of put a damper on that, so. The other thing is the new township sign foundation is completed. We got that poured a couple weeks ago.
You're stealing my thunder right now.
Sorry.
I was trying to give you a giant shout out, but.
You're more than welcome to do that too. I need it.
Last one.
From my understanding, the sign is completed and been shipped, and the shipper will be contacting probably Shauna on scheduling a day when we can offload it, because it'll come via truck. So that shouldn't be a problem. The only thing on the other is continue mowing cemeteries in the township, and that's all I have.
All right, thank you for your report. Get back to us when you are done with that.
Gentlemen, have a good evening. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for coming.
Good night. Ray.
Enjoyed the meeting.
Yep. Donna, your zoning report.
Permits are amping up. It is that time of year. 8 permits written in May, 3 ag exempt barns on Shimp Road, Friend Road, and State Road 725. 2 residential additions on Wetzel Road and Farmington Road. 1 fence on State Route 725, a barn on Germantown Middletown Pike, and the lot split on State Route 725 was approved at the BZA meeting on May 13th. So there will be another residential structure going up on that location. Jeremy stole my thunder, but yes, the township sign has been shipped. It is expected to arrive at DHL, which is the local carrier, on Thursday. And at that point, they will schedule with me to deliver it here, where these wonderful gentlemen, Mr. Holbrook and Mr. Hamilton, which we did not realize was part of the deal at the beginning, they will unload it as well as install it. So a huge, yes, a huge thank you to the German Township Road Department for taking care of the, I think, 3 minutes it took to take the old sign down. And then putting in the foundation for the new one in plenty of time for it to cure.
And ran the new electric.
Did you run that? What about the Wi-Fi? Are we good there?
Well, it doesn't work for the computer, so.
Well, that's to be determined. But yes, a most definite preemptive thank you to the road department for unloading and installing the new sign. So by the time the next trustee meeting rolls around, we should be able to proudly advertise our new LED sign.
Perfect. So looking forward to it.
Yes, thank you to these guys who have been fantastic. Jumped on it quickly, so.
Yeah.
So was that going to be the first message on the sign? Thank you to the road department.
Absolutely. Yeah, they actually sent me the software login and all that. I've been playing around with it, trying to get used to it. It's relatively easy to use. If we get stuff set up ahead of time, then I can jump on my phone and change it if need be. So it's good. I like it so far.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited. Welcome to 2025, gentlemen. But that's all I got.
All right, thank you for your report. Mr. Potter, we'll move on to trustee reports.
Yeah, I have a couple things today. The pool is open. Last week, the pool had a sewer line back up into the bathroom and the concession stand. Ended up closing the pool that afternoon. They had more sewer repair come and jet the line, and camera it, and was able to get it cleared enough that they used the men's bathroom was able to use the men's bathroom, and just a lifeguard was watched as people went in and out. The sewer line is collapsed and has to be repaired, which involves concrete removal, digging up, removing the old line, replacing sewer line, concrete. They rented a bathroom trailer for a month, approximately $7,000 for that. Claymore is scheduled for the 17th to make the repair at an estimated cost of $12,000, and he thinks it'll take 4 days. The 4th of July at the park, the 4th of July parade, grand marshals are going to be Bob McLean and Bob Neff. Parade starts at 10 o'clock at Kircher Park. After the parade, they will be doing a walkway dedication at the Veterans Park for Bob McLean and Bob Neff. The MMI, the sign was installed on the boulder, and Cole's Landscaping will be doing the landscape around the boulder before the 4th. Little Twin, I sent an email to Stacy Valance removing our application for the OPWC District 4 grant. I talked to Ron Wine, and he had a stroke. It's been a couple of weeks in the hospital and in rehab. I met with him last week at Kircher Park to look at the erosion control after all of the spring flooding. It's silting in very nicely. You need to go take a look at it and see how good that it's doing. Ron seemed to be himself, just a little unstable with his walking. He had a driver with him, and he will get us a proposal together for the Little Twin project for the July meeting.
All right, sounds good. Is that all? All right, Dr. Cross.
Okay. Joe Scholler contacted me on 5/13 with concerns that the upcoming Ohio legislation may limit the power of the townships have over prohibiting marijuana operations. This arose from comments made at the trustee meetings that we have a moratorium in place. Mr. Houston was able to supply the resolution 2024-44 that actually does prohibit the cultivation, processing, and distribution of medical marijuana and medical adult use marijuana in the township. After reviewing the document, Mr. Scholler stated that we were good. So,
Okay.
so that was good. Concerning electric aggregation, AES announced that they will charge 9.45 cents per kilowatt hour starting on 6/1. Our rate through trade bill is 9.199, so it's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
But the AES was actually going to be much higher, so. I attended the Germantown Council meeting on 6/2/25. Two council members did thank us, the township, for releasing $60 in holdback funds to purchase a new slide. There was some discussion about a new D1 and D2 liquor permit for 53 West Market, which is Dave's old place. So the recommendation was to leave the approval to the state. I don't know if the city can approve things, but they decided to just to leave it to the state. I'm sure
I think you can send an input, right?
They
What?
they can approve it, or they can also object to it, so it's to the state.
Yeah, so they decided, since there'd been so much controversy sort of with that property, so they decided to send it to the state. During a work session, council received information about the city's new drone. At this time, the police department has one certified pilot. More officers are to be trained. The cost of the drone was $13,500. The biggest benefit should be in the search and rescue area. The police department demonstrated the zone outside and is really quite impressive. It's available for mutual assistance. So if you'd ever, really, like I say, it has a little spotlight and you can project an officer's voice from it.
Okay.
You can go to infrared mode so you can see at night, which would be perfect for out here if somebody's lost in the reserve. So, yeah, but yeah, it was pretty impressive. Did you all get an email from Kate Baker from the recorder's office?
Yeah, it came yesterday.
Yeah.
It wasn't, was that to us?
Well, it's to Judy,
Right.
and then it was, she also
Okay.
talked about German Township. But I kind of find, she wants all of German Township to be part of the ban system, fraud alert notification. I don't really think that's our job to sign up the entire township. If people want it, they can sign it
Well,
up.
I think she just wanted township owned property.
Oh,
Like the
I forwarded
parks.
to you?
I think they just wanted township owned property, not like all the. That's how I read it.
I got
at
the
least.
impression that.
I read it as all of the township.
Oh, she wanted,
Specific to just,
This
let me
township,
read it.
I read it, I gotta go back, but I took it as she wanted any township owned property like this place and anything else the parks probably.
It'd be possible for German Township to enroll all their properties. I'm asking for all your building parks and all parcels owned by the community, meaning you all.
That's a lot less.
So I don't,
I thought it was all of the township. I was like,
I don't have a personal problem with it.
What does that entail? I
We
had
would get notified in the event
right.
that somebody tried
Do
to.
we just have to turn our parcel number into them? Is that all we
It's a
do?
form, I think.
Okay.
They recommend everybody do that.
John McManus talked about
Yeah,
that
that's what you.
when he was here a couple of months ago.
Yes.
That feature.
Okay.
And there's no cost and there's no harm to us. If we ever wanted to do something with our deed, we'd have to then contact them, remove that.
Okay.
It keeps
Yeah.
fraudulent people to come in and doing a quick claim.
Like, right.
will let you know if they're trying to do that. Yes. So it doesn't prohibit them doing it. You know, so you can take steps to avoid that problem.
So yeah, if we can enroll in it, we might as well.
I enrolled my house. So
Okay.
It's going on.
So
Let's see what.
If you would like
is
to
it
do
easy
a
to
motion,
do?
Yeah, it's very easy.
authorize enrolling in it.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the township to enroll in the fan system through the Montgomery County Recorder's Office.
Second.
Who beat you? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. All right, I'll move into my report. I just have a few things tonight. I'll start with the Memorial Day update at the cemetery. Keith and the staff had the place looking amazing. So if you got a chance to go down there, despite the bad weather leading up to it, Keith and the guys got the place looking immaculate. So all the way from the front to the back corner looked great. There was a great turnout for the parade, not the parade, but the walk, the march to the pilgrimage to the cemetery, people that came. Just a great turnout, and I think people appreciated how well it looked. Now, that was Monday. Friday of that same week, the flagpole was taken out by a monument truck in the center of the cemetery. So luckily it happened after Memorial Day, and luckily there were no injuries, and there was only damage to one stone. It was a monument truck, crane truck, and it was not supposed to turn, and it did, and then it tried to back up and snapped it off right at the base. So we'll be working with them and most likely insurance to figure out how we can get this replaced. But I think it's going to be a bit of I think we're gonna have to dig the foundation out because it snapped it off clean at the ground. So we're gonna look into what we can do for that. Luckily, again, just the one stone was damaged, and it was the one that's used as a podium right there. We think it may have been Lions Club maybe donated it years ago.
Before my time.
Yeah, it's been there a while, but it's not the first time that stone's been knocked over by things, but it took a whole corner off of it when it fell. So I should ask the mayor while he was here, but Burkhart's Engineering is moving forward with our drawings to remove the wall and most of the sidewalk. It's being sent to the city for approval. Our hope is they don't make us put the sidewalk back across the front of the house. We will take a sidewalk from the front of the house west so the occupants of the house can get to the bus. But we do not plan on going to the east where there goes to nowhere. So we're waiting. Hopefully the city approves that. We'll have to wait and see. And then next month for the cemetery, I'll just get a little head start. We're going to, it was already in the city mailer they put out, the magazine, but we're going to be having a logo design contest for the Germantown Union Cemetery. So be thinking of your ideas. I'll give more information next month as we narrow down what we're looking for specifically. But we're going to open this up to anybody, all ages, and then we're going to see what we can do to get a logo on our new website. All right. Zoning. Interviews were held on 6/5 here at the township. Shauna sat in with interviews with me. After we completed our round of interviews, I would like to ask the board for permission to hire Janet Burton of Germantown as part-time zoning inspector and trash billing as well at $20 per hour and starting next Monday, 6/16. Her expected hours will be 8 to 12 hours per week. So, resolution.
Number 37.
I would like to introduce resolution 2025-37, a resolution to hire Janet Burton as the part-time zoning inspector as well as trash billing officer at $20 per hour, starting 6/16 and working approximately 8 to 12 hours per week.
There's a second.
I'll second. So how's the training gonna go with it?
I will have her work with me for the first few weeks, and then it's kind of nice because I will be in the adjoining office. So whenever she's in, if she needs something, I'm right there. So it'll be nice. I'll stay with her as long as she needs me, until she feels comfortable.
And we interviewed a couple of good candidates. I think that Ms. Burton is no nonsense, which I think is what you want in a zoning inspector. She has experience. She worked at one of the hospitals in the pastoral care. She was like a secretary for that. And then she most recently worked at UD in their arena event staff as like an administrative assistant as well. So she's got lots of experience dealing with the public and
I know she had some billing experience with the pastoral thing.
yep.
That's-
So excited to have her. I think she's going to do a good job. She's retired and she was just looking for something part-time to do. So
Well, hopefully she can institute some sort of penalty or as far as fines.
I'm gonna get with, a new, most of the time when I send out the violation notice letters, most people comply and it's been very easy. There's been a few lately that have not, so I'm gonna get with a new and see what our next steps are. We'll start taking steps against.
You're in the police department, so you can, if there's citation.
Yeah. Well, and Officer Getter has been amazing. He's got a little bit of history with zoning and he has good contacts with zoning as far as citations and all that. So he's been offering me some advice and
Yeah.
getting me some contacts who we need to get with. So we're working on that. But yeah, as far as the training, like I said, I'll stay with her as long as she needs. And then I'm right next door, which is definitely an advantage.
yes.
So, Mr. Heason, can we sign her up as an affiliate member to the OTA?
Yes, we can.
Get her as a list. Is that way she can, because again, the resource center, there's loads of webinars and things that you can go to. You could spend a month just watching zoning things probably.
Yeah.
But again, let her know that just she can access that way.
I think that would just be a process of me contacting the county office and Montgomery County Township Association,
Right.
having it switched, Shauna, to Janet.
I mean, do you want to stay on the OTA? I mean,
That is up to you guys.
it's really probably doesn't affect anything but the OTA conference, you get the better. So I think isn't the affiliate membership only $20 or it's?
Just leave her on and add,
Yeah, I think exactly.
just in case.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Yeah.
So I'll have to switch you then.
It'll just be till the end of the year, correct? And then we can decide from
Yeah.
there. Okay.
All right, say that again.
It would just be till the end of the year and then we can decide.
For
after that.
membership.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you're already a member through the rest of this year. So we're just going to add one.
Okay.
Maybe just let her know, because some of those seminars you have to pay for, they're like $20. And then, I'm sure the township would have no trouble.
No, we'll cover whatever. training.
Yeah, I think it would be fantastic training for, I'm gonna try to get her. I'm gonna look into, some of the meetings that I've gone to. I know there was one up at Jefferson Township, that was very helpful. And zoning is kind of all about the context that you make. And that one was very helpful as far as it was all of Montgomery County, all over, different zoning inspectors. And I just found it kind of well, what are you dealing with and how are you dealing with this? And I think that was extremely helpful. So I'd like to get her on some of that.
I think, the board, I think, is going to have to make some decision as far as redoing the zoning resolution. Whether we talk to the group that showed up last week or last meeting. Either way, it's going to be expensive, but I don't know any other way because we certainly internally can't redo it that way.
Right. Yeah, that was definitely it. Well, let's vote on this resolution first, and then we can continue our discussion. But
Any more discussion on the resolution? Okay, Mr. Stubbs?
yes,
Dr. Cross?
Yes.
Mr. Potter? Yes. Resolution 2025-37 is adopted.
but I was a little surprised at the cost, what they told. There's a little sticker shock. They told me.
That's really a very small part of it.
Yeah, that was just to look over our code.
Right.
And that wasn't even to
Redo it, get it in the meat of it, yeah.
So, yeah, it's that's something we can look into. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
With all this AI stuff, though, I'm not sure we can't run it through one of those.
I'm surprised that is there just the one grant for this?
For Ohio right now, yes.
This year.
For this
That's
year.
crazy for me that you've got all of these townships and all of these areas and they're offering one grant.
No, it's a fixed amount of money.
Yeah, but it opened and closed almost immediately.
He's gone in 4 days.
First in the door.
Yeah, it's insane. To me, I'm just, I'm shocked that there's not more options. You miss out on one, you can't apply for another one. There's no other one. This is it.
This is all they allocated.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a question of best need. It was who's in the door first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was closed before we even knew it was open.
So the elephant in the room is if the property taxes get eliminated in November, we'll have no.
What's the plan on that? I haven't heard because I know there's talking,
Now they're
2.7.
They're getting signatures.
Right.
Signatures put it on the November ballot. That's a constitutional amendment to not be able to tax real property. So because all our income is from real estate taxes. So theoretically, if that passes, there would be no income for.
Well, where's the money go though? Because they're going to put a 2.75% sales tax, right? Isn't that what they said on everything?
I didn't hear how they're going to replace it.
The proposed constitutional amendment has no provision for replacing the real estate taxes. Now, if it should get to the ballot in November, and if it should pass, it would be effective January 1st of 26. But since taxes are collected and paid a year in arrears, we would continue to get our normal tax money in 2026. Starting in 2027, there would be no tax revenue coming in. Besides our normal trash in and out, the only other revenue we would be guaranteed would be whatever we bring in through zoning, and then our gas tax and our license plate fees, which would be specifically for roads. So that if it passes, the legislature has a year to put something together. There was a good article in today's paper about that you might want to look at.
What about the interest that we collect off the levies or money?
Well, there would be no levy money coming in, so there'd be no interest.
Why wouldn't it? It's because that's all through the property tax.
All the money we get, yeah,
I mean,
most of it.
the holdback money we're holding would continue to get interest,
But they'd be asking for that real quick.
but there would be no more levy money coming in for police for any of our levies. Now, what I have not ever read is whether that also includes inside millage, which doesn't go to the police department, but some of it comes to the general fund, some goes to the road department from inside millage.
Sorry to bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that,
Nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, all right, if it comes up.
It's going to hurt townships more than anyone else because we are so limited in what we are able to generate revenue from. Except for the JED, we can't do income tax. Now, that wouldn't mean that the legislature might not add that option. But then again, it would probably have to go to the voters to be approved sometime in 27. So it's all premature, but certainly it is really hit the newspaper is very hard. So you're going to be reading a lot about it over the next 3 to 4 months.
all right, is that all for you, Dr. Cross?
I just want to go ahead and say I'm not going to run for reelection, just basically because of some issues. So again, if you know anybody who wants to run for trustee, have them pick up their, besides Jake, you've already got that.
Pick mine up.
Pick up their petitions. And,
Yeah.
but again, I'm leaving it, even without me, you two can do some good work. So
Well, I appreciate everything you've done. Really do appreciate everything you've done. You've done a great job. The extra work you put in over the years has been impressive, and the Fouts Fund would still be sitting there with a bigger number if it wasn't for you looking into it, and the time and effort you put in to go above and beyond. I know you went to the library, and weren't you going through the microfilm for a little bit? Yeah, so greatly appreciate everything you've done. Not necessarily agree with you on everything, but I know you've always had the best interest of the township at heart. So I do appreciate that greatly. So
Absolutely.
definitely sad to see you not running again. But I totally understand it. So
appreciate it.
definitely appreciate everything you've done for the township.
I get that.
Mr. Holbrook.
Are we ready to
Yes.
review the bids? All right. I've gone through most of the bid submittals, and both of them seem to match all the requirements. They both accompanied their bids with a bid guarantee, the amount of 10% of the maximum bid, and both contractors were ODOT pre-qualified. So it would be my recommendation that the board accept the lowest bid. The lowest bid was for $228 per square yard through Wagner Paving, compared to the $241 per square yard for Ray Hensley.
So you worked with Wagner before?
No, but they've done a lot of work for Preble County, and I have seen their work, seen their equipment. So I'm confident that they're a big enough company that I think they know what they're doing. They did actually gave a bunch of trade references in their bid with different townships and counties and stuff that they had done work for. Like I said, they do a lot of stuff in Preble County. They used to do all of the county's chip seal. So I think they do know what they're doing. So, but yeah, that would be my recommendation for the price difference to award the bid to Wagner Paving out of Flora, Ohio. It's $2.28 a square yard.
Do you have a total square yardage or a not to exceed amount? We need to put that in the resolution.
The total square yardage, the estimated total square yardage is 66,941 square yards. So it is not to exceed $152,625.48.
152,
625.48.
152, 625.48. Okay, that'll be resolution 38.
I'll introduce resolution 2025-38, a resolution to contract with Wagner Paving for the chip sealing at a cost of $228 per square yard, not to exceed $152,625.48, or approximately 66,941 square yards.
Second.
Any discussion of the resolution? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Mr. Stubbs?
Yes.
Ross? Yes. Mr. Potter? Yes. Resolution 2025-38 is adopted.
Thank you.
All right. Any other business tonight? Any other comments tonight? No. Nothing. All right. With that, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:11. 8:11.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We're adjourned at 8:11.